Moving on to audio-lingual method, we could see that the methods of foreign language teaching used before World War II were losing their popularity because of various reasons. And among them, we could see that the methods which were popular at that time included direct method, reading approach, or reading oral approach. They lacked in the standardization of vocabulary, structure, or grammar. And because of dissatisfaction with these methods, we can see the emergence of audio-lingual method. This method was introduced somewhere in 1950s, and it was quite contrary to grammar translation method and other methods of that time. It was based on the theoretical background of behaviorist psychology and structural view of language. The more we practice something or a language, the better learners or users we become in that language. This is what is the main philosophy of the drills used in audio-lingual method. We could see it also focuses on various elements of language, for example, phonology, morphology, and syntax. And audio-lingual method believes that all these elements, when learned, help people developing their own structures of language once they become proficient or good users of that language. And in audio-lingual method, it's the speaking which is more important, and other skills comes after it. Through language learning and the learning of various elements within that language, we can build grammatically correct sentences and text in the speaking of that language. So as I said earlier, speaking is the focus of audio-lingual method. Writing only helps students reinforce what has been learned. So writing is usually used to see the reinforcement of the learning students get through their speaking drills. Some of the popular characteristics of audio-lingual method include that a language is introduced within the classroom based on this method through dialogues. Students are exposed to various dialogues and they learn new elements of language through those dialogues. Then there is repetition of those dialogues, substitution. We could see things are being substituted, various linguistic items, so that learners may learn new items. And pronunciation is emphasized, rather sometimes overemphasized in this method. Therefore, the teacher is the model because he provides the model for pronunciation. And one important feature of this method is the use of equipment, various language teaching materials in form of equipment. Therefore, it is assumed that an important well-equipped language lab is necessary for exercising audio-lingual method in any classroom. Learner roles are interesting in audio-lingual method. They are most of the time reactive. They react to what teachers say. They do not initiate any action in their learning, and they can be directed by skilled training by the teacher. Teacher's role is central in audio-lingual method because they are active, they control, they not only monitor the learning but also control the learning and the learners. And they are also, as I said earlier, the model of target language. The way they speak, students would follow. The role of instruction material, I have already hinted about it, is also very important in audio-lingual method because, as I said earlier, a well-equipped laboratory is important for successful learning of audio-lingual method. It might include tape recorders, audiovisual equipment, and other language teaching aids. Its teacher-oriented material is used by and skillfully employed by the teacher in order to produce successful learners. And it also focuses on positive reinforcement based on behaviorist philosophy of stimulus, response, and reinforcement. We could see that audiolingual method relies heavily on drills and then substitution of various linguistic items during those drills. As I said earlier, this is used in order to make students learn new items within the same range or beyond the range of linguistic items. This method is also not devoid of criticism. One of the very prominent criticism on audiolingual method is that it is not practical in those contexts where such well-equipped language labs are not available. For example, many L2 contexts which are not developed and do not have enough resources for running their educational institutions, they cannot afford such well-equipped lab for language teaching. Let's take the example of Pakistan here. Pakistani government has not been able to produce such language labs for learners throughout the country. Even in the urban areas of the country, such labs are not available in public schools or colleges. So what to say about the rural areas and remote areas of the country? So this method, even if it is absolutely correct and useful, may not be applicable for other practical reasons. Similarly, it also demands a lot of expertise on the part of teacher, and we know second language teachers may not always be expert to produce native like proficiency. Therefore, it might be deficient even in the beginning when the teacher is not skilled or proficient enough to run this method. It also has a little focus on real life context, and its premium is also on accuracy. So fluency somewhere is also compromised here. We could see this may be impractical for various reasons, but overall this method has been successful in certain areas of learning where learning aim was quick to be achieved.